South Africans share the country's wealth as articulated in the Freedom Charter? Is there enough political will to radically transform the country's mining industry? Can the requirements of South Africa's mining charter be made compulsory? Is the economic potential of oil and gas exploration fully explored? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. It is supposed to be one of the biggest contributors to the country's GDP, but the mining resources sector is not operating at its fullest potential. Other operators blame transfer pricing. Also, despite the requirements of the mining charter, the mining industry is criticized for having been the slowest to transform. Mineral Resources Minister Ngwakura Matlodi says government shares the industry's concern about regulatory certainty. My guest today is Advocate Ngwakura Matlodi, the Minister of Mineral Resources. Minister, welcome to the show. Let us firstly start with the charter. You, and by you I mean the department, were supposed to have ensured that by May 2014, all operators comply with the mining charter. It has not happened.
My information is that our year of assessment starts March each and every year. So in other words, we are due to report back in March next year.
Okay.
Now, and what we are doing now, we have appointed a company, Moloto, that is currently working on assessing the compliance levels of the various mining houses. And to speed up further the process, I have asked the Director General to look into possibilities this week of setting up tripartite working groups which can begin to accelerate the process, which we can then do this evaluation on a collaborative basis.
Okay.
So that when you have got outcomes, there's no one who will contest those outcomes.
Now, you are saying that the year begins and ends in, the dates that you have set now. Part of the elements of the mining charter says you must achieve a minimum target of 26% ownership to enable meaningful economic participation by historically disadvantaged South Africans by 2014. Now, let's deal with the technicality here. 26% by 2014. Has that been achieved? No.
We are now evaluating that. We are in the process of evaluating whether it has been achieved or not. And we'll issue a report by early next year to make a definite pronouncement on that outcome.
Fortunately, you are an advocate, and I want to put it to you that that has not been achieved. And I'm going to prove it to you.
Right.
That out of the top 49 resources operators, which are basically your mining companies listed at the JSE, right? Out of the top 49, which are valued at 2.6 trillion rands, right? They have not met the 26% ownership. They have only met about 2.6%, which results in about 2.8 billion rands only. Whereas if it was 26%, at least the capital that would be in historically disadvantaged South Africans would be over 600 billion rands. That's what you're losing at the moment to inject into programs such as the NDP. Now, as I've said, I'm going to get you that slide, and I'll show it to you that indeed that is not the case. And I mean, this is from the JSE itself. What do you say to that?
Well, we are in the process of evaluating, including interrogating reasons why that has not happened, if it hasn't happened.
Okay. And do you recognize one of the issues that I identified when we started was that transfer pricing is killing the industry? What is your view on that?
Well, in my address to one of the mining CEOs, I have said to them that if there is such a thing happening, I would hope it is not sustained, so it should be stopped.
Okay.
That's what I've publicly said.
Okay.
All right.
Now that it is happening, as I've said, I've got that slide.
There's transfer pricing.
Yes.
If it is happening, it should stop. That is the bottom line.
What are you going to do once you find it? What do you want to see before you're convinced that transfer pricing is happening?
Well, one is new in the department.
Okay.
I'm getting myself educated, even about the content of the stamps, what it amounts to, but I'm told it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Because this concept suggests that someone produces here at a certain price, and then buy cheaper here and go and sell much more expensively elsewhere.
No, they sell to themselves.
Yes. No, they create companies which
they own.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yes.
So I'm busy studying the concept and to see what the story is. And at the moment, I don't think there's a law that regulates that. So you can only rely on cooperation. Failing which, then you want to look at your legislative regime to address the issue.
But the charter is established in terms of this act, right? And it does say in, I think, section 48 or section 98, read in conjunction with 99, subsection 99, that if any of the operators does not comply with this, with the requirements of the act, which includes the charter, and we're now talking transformation and basically, and I'll get you what exactly it says, but it says something to the effect that under-reporting your own income, which therefore makes it a not just a criminal offense, but also, indeed, it gives you the powers to act on people who are, or anybody, any operator who goes against this charter. So the under-reporting of commodity prices in favor of contract pricing or recommended pricing, non-reporting of full range of products sold, inflated expenditure used to reduce profits locally, and all that. I'll get you that act, or I'll get you that subsection whilst we're still taking a break. But I just want to assure you that you've got all the powers to act on this. Well, I don't want to assume the powers. Okay. I've got to satisfy myself they exist. All right. We're going to take a quick break. Please don't go away.
The Kenyan actress is the first from her country to win an Academy Award. Her Best Actress Oscar win has inspired many in Kenya.
Nyong'o's victory has made the headlines in all of the country's newspapers. This was Nyong'o's first role in a film after she had completed postgraduate studies in America.
Players in South Africa's music industry will attend the Music Exchange program in Cape Town, South Africa.
We as Africans, we have to embrace what is unique about us and about our music.
That's Afro Showbiz News, Saturdays, 7:30 p.m. on SABC News.
Technology is all around us and is improving lives across Africa, like how young Nigerians are connecting to the internet. There are doctors finding new ways to save lives in Cameroon, and the South African public transport system that is now getting Wi-Fi. We have gadgets, apps and loads more, some of which play a big role in Africa's growth. A huge part of this African growth is technological innovation. To find out a bit more about social media and technology news from here in Africa and abroad, join me, Siphumelele Zondi, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. on SABC News.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My name is Paul Sedu. Like I said, my guest is the Minister of Mineral Resources, Advocate Mwakura Mashudi. Now, Minister, this is your act, Minerals and Petroleum Resources Development Act. Section 47(1) says, or 1A, or 1, let's say 1B here, which says subject to subsections 2, 3, and 4, the minister may cancel or suspend any reconnaissance permission, prospecting right, mining permit, or retention permit if the holder thereof B, breaches any material term or condition of such right, permit, or permission, or has submitted inaccurate, this is D, has submitted inaccurate, incorrect, or misleading information in connection with any matter required to be submitted under this act. And like I said, the charter is established as
under the act. Yes.
Under the act. So you've got the powers.
No, you might have the powers, but the crime has to be proven. In other words, you are not going to act on the basis of accusations not proven. In other words, means you must go into an exercise to establish the facts, arrive at a determination, and at that point, execute.
Do you know that Lonmin interdicted a group of researchers who were about to release a report on the research that was conducted?
I read something about that.
Okay.
And I don't know the reasons why they've interdicted.
I can tell you.
No, you can tell me, yes.
Okay.
I'm happy to hear.
Yeah, they interdicted them because they said that report contains sensitive information that may trigger some unrest. And this is a very sensitive period where the commission is still sitting, and therefore anything that may raise people's conscience about monies that are being swindled out of this country may not be good for the country, but also because they were in recess, they wouldn't be able to give proper representation. So it means that somehow there's an element of truth in what I'm saying, that indeed, although I'm not saying Lonmin is involved in price fixing or transfer pricing, but it is highly probable, and I want to present it to you in that manner.
But look, we are currently evaluating compliance with the charter.
Okay.
And I'm sure there will be no holy cows in that process.
Okay.
And at the end of that, I might want to come back here and talk to you.
Okay. Do you understand or acknowledge that transfer pricing is really detrimental to the economy and to the achievements of the goals as set out in the NDP, and perhaps to the achievements of the plans that the ANC has committed to in their manifesto?
Well, that's the reason why we have said if it is happening, it should stop. And we are in the process of evaluating compliance with the laws and regulations of the country. At the end of that process, we'll make our pronouncements.
Okay. Let's talk about ownership of mines and say that indeed the charter says at least 26% should have gone to historically disadvantaged South Africans. What are you going to do with companies that do not meet that requirement? Are you going to suspend their licenses? Or?
My response to that question has been suspension is always the last resort. I don't want to threaten anybody in this environment. I'm expecting collaboration and cooperation with all concerned, that we put the industry at a different level. So if there is non-compliance, one of the issues that we have got to do is to find out why. What has somebody, for instance, been empowered and in the name of empowerment sold that 26%? Those are the issues that come to the fore.
Do you know why black people not owning mines? It's because what happens with the companies that they are said to be buying in, they come up with a deal that says, we're giving you such a stake, which is worth 100 million rands, and you are not going to get the 100 million rand, but you will take it from the dividends. Then they go through transfer pricing, they declare very minimal dividends. Then Nwaku cannot pay his debt to the company, but the company is making money elsewhere outside. So black people remain these BEE glorified shareholders who do not have power. They buy you expensive cars, give you some credit cards, and you're very happy as Mpo to be moving around saying you are an owner of a mine, which you effectively don't own. And they never get to own them because the dividends are always declared, unscrupulously so.
Well, that's the matter to be investigated, and a determination will be made after that investigation. And the investigation is the appraisal I'm talking about of the charter. Yeah.
Women in mining, youth in mining, people living with disabilities, is this an issue which is of any interest to you? As perhaps as a new minister, to ensure that by the time you leave the portfolio, you would have achieved something in as far as that is concerned?
Well, a part of the mandate of this government is to ensure that there is women participation in the economy, that the young people are enabled and in fact encouraged and empowered to participate. So definitely, that's part of my mandate.
Okay. Beneficiation?
Yeah. Whilst we have the biggest reserves, we are supposed to have the biggest mineral reserves in the world.
Yeah.
We are quite alive to the fact that these commodities, minerals, are finite. They do get finished at some point.
Sure.
So you want to use the window you've got whilst you still have the minerals to create possibilities for life after the mining activities stop in the country. That's where beneficiation come in. And so we are discussing that with the various ministries, DTI, economic affairs, in the economic cluster, as to what can be done to use the minerals in order to facilitate and empower the processes of beneficiation.
Okay. Let's take a break. When we return, I'm going to just give you one or two people from the streets. I think they've got a question or two for you or their comments, and perhaps you can also give us your views on that. And thereafter, I also want to talk to you. This is OR Tambo month.
Yeah, okay. It's okay.
All right.
Right.
Question time takes a break. Please don't go away.
Kunjani, Nda, Assalamualaikum, Goeiemorgen, Namaste, Jumbo Africa, and a very warm welcome to SABC News Channel 404. South African Revenue Service has upheld its impressive record of collecting taxes. SARS collected about 86 billion rand more in the fiscal year compared to the previous year.
The message we want to communicate is that government must also live modestly, and that when we're looking at these sorts of issues, modesty is an important message to communicate to the public.
That's AM News, daily at 10 a.m. on SABC News. SABC News, we've got Africa covered.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today is the Minister of Mineral Resources, Advocate Ngwakora Mahlodi. Now, Minister, before we just take the Voxes, you just launched a week ago a fund which is supposed to ensure that the housing and living conditions in the mining area is improved.
Depressed mining communities,
yes,
particularly in the Platinum Belt, yes.
Okay, just talk to us briefly about that.
Well, there was a process which was led by the then Deputy President, Ntate Mhlante, and then that process produced a document which sought to stabilize the mining communities, particularly in the Platinum Belt.
Okay.
That process has since been taken over by the President and is led by the Presidency. So last week, the President was launching, it's a tripartite driven process. We are then launching officially the interventions that government and business and the industry is doing to bring to build new communities on a different basis within the Platinum.
Okay. Let's take a look and see what the people on the street have to say.
I think the unions of the mine workers should get together with the with the mine bosses, and they should sit and resolve the problem. The government should just keep peace and order and don't allow the violence to take place.
The shareholders in the mines must look at that, I don't want to say constitution, but that certain document that tells them what to do, what not to do, how mines should be operated, the area around the mine, how it should be controlled. I think they need to implement that a lot. The people as well must be informed about what they should be expecting from those people and everything. Because the mine owners or shareholders, however you want to call it, they know for sure that wherever there's a mine, the community around them is supposed to be in a certain position, which it's not happening.
What do you say to those two respondents there?
Well, we do have a big responsibility as government and as the industry to make sure that we build real communities there, which are sustainable. We're avoiding a situation where we see our intervention as just the provision of houses. We really have to come with full packages, which include schools, clinics.
Human settlements, basically.
Yeah, exactly, precisely. Yeah.
Okay. Should we expect a giant leap in as far as transformation of the sector is concerned now that you're in office?
Well, I'm hoping to work in collaboration with all stakeholders to achieve the goals of our manifesto, which is to transform. Second phase of our transformation, it means we've got to work at the doubles to make sure that things get done.
Okay. Would you say that you will also deal with officials within your department and ministry who are shareholders in some of these mines, because they are referees and players at the same time? I know you're going to say we must prove it. And
No,
investigate.
it depends on the law. It depends on what the law says. If the law says they can declare those,
Yeah.
then there's no crime.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's leave the mining sector and the law and talk about OR.
Yeah.
The first speech you wrote for OR came back, I think, what, 90% was rectified?
Red pen, yeah.
Red pen.
Yeah.
What did it say to you about the man?
He was thorough, very thorough. He used only one paragraph of that speech. Now, I think that partly accounted for his demise, because what would then happen, he would give you an assignment and then come and do it himself, in addition to what you are doing, in comparison to Madiba. Because I wrote speeches for Madiba as well,
Yes.
so just to contrast the two. If Madiba gave you an assignment, he would rarely change the speech. In other words, he could delegate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So OR wasn't that type.
No, we'd have to stop him from working in the middle of the night and so on. Yeah, very thorough, extremely thorough.
Do you think we're living in a country which he sacrificed his life for?
I think we all acknowledge we could have done better.
Okay.
There's a lot that has been achieved, but definitely much more still need to be done. I mean, we still have you have people in rural areas, some of them don't have the necessary amenities. You have children crossing rivers without bridges being built, and so there are issues that we have got to deal with as a society.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you say in 10 seconds needs to happen to ensure that OR's spirit lives on?
We should commit as a nation to the dedication that he himself had shown towards the country. In Kabe, he said, my body is limping, but what remains of my life will be consumed by the struggle.
Minister.
Thank you.
Ramahlodi.
Thank you, sir.
Let's leave it there. It was question time for today. A big thank you to you for watching the show and to my guests. We welcome your feedback. Our email address, questiontime@sabc.co.za. Our Twitter handle @questiontime24. From me and the crew, have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.